We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 craziest docuseries you need to binge.
Come here, you sexy beast. Hi, little man.
For this list, we're looking at the best episodic TV shows that cover true crime, history, and other real-life stories. What did you make of these shows? Let us know in the comments below. Number 20. Waco, American Apocalypse.
When Christ reveals himself, it's going to be according to the book.
The whole time we were listening to David, we were living and doing God's will.
There's no shortage of documentaries about the Waco siege of 1993, but Waco, American Apocalypse is the definitive chronicle of the subject. Suspecting the Branch Davidians, an apocalyptic religious cult, of stockpiling illegal weapons, the ATF raided their compound in Axtell, Texas. A fatal gunfight led to a 51-day siege, which ended in an FBI raid and a fire that took the lives of 76 cult members.
The producer says in my ear, "It's on fire." I turned around and I looked. Oh my God, the whole compound had started to catch fire.
This doc stands out from others thanks to some cinematic visuals, never-before-seen news footage, FBI home videos, and stellar interviews with people involved. It doesn't take sides, but presents the story from a variety of angles and allows viewers to come to their own conclusions.
All the pain that they went through, I can't imagine it, but I think about it every day.
Number 19. The Confession Killer.
One policeman said he makes Charles Manson sound like Tom Sawyer.
Henry Lee Lucas is one of the most notorious names in true crime. While in prison for 3 murders, he confessed to having killed 600 people between 1975 and 1983.
You know, you have a member of your family killed, you want to find out the perpetrator. And so many of them slept better because they felt they had found that perp.
Besides leading to the controversial 1986 film Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, his confessions persuaded the Texas Rangers to call it a day on a number of hitherto unsolved cases. Turns out, however, that Lucas made them up. The Confession Killer delves into this awful hoax, including why it was taken so seriously and the damage it caused to the reputations of law officials.
With an IQ of 87, he was able to convince 1,000 law enforcement officers that he was guilty of 200 or whatever it was crimes.
It's a fascinating look, not at the crimes themselves, but at the justice system and failures within it. Number 18. The Family.
It took a long time before I realized just who the family was and the influence they have had in the leadership of our country.
A secretive conservative Christian group, the Family, also known as the Fellowship, holds incredible power in American politics. While its members have taken a vow of silence, many journalists, including executive producer Jeff Sharlet, have exposed the organization's inner workings and how it influences political legislation in the United States.
At their headquarters, the seat of their power, there were congressmen, senators, world leaders, an invisible organization that had been hiding in plain sight for over 80 years.
It's an intriguing story that dives down some shockingly deep rabbit holes. The truths that it reveals are quite disturbing, and anyone interested in politics owes it to themselves to check it out.
When you look at the mafia, they also use the same type of organization. Everything visible is transitory. Everything invisible is permanent and lasts forever.
Number 17. The Devil Next Door.
The importance of the story to me, it's so American. Everybody came to America for a new life. John Demoniak came here for a new life. And several years into it, it was turned upside down.
You never really know who you're living near. This documentary follows the highly publicized trials of John Demjanjuk, an Ohio auto worker. Demjanjuk's story was everywhere in the 1980s when he was misidentified as a notorious Nazi guard nicknamed Ivan the Terrible, who'd been stationed at Treblinka extermination camp.
Demjanjuk denies all charges, claiming he is not Ivan the Terrible and it's all a case of mistaken identity.
Demjanjuk was acquitted, but accused of being a guard at a different camp, Sobibor, and tried again in the 2000s. He was found guilty and sentenced to prison. The Devil Next Door presents this captivating tale and captures its myriad twists and turns in engrossing fashion.
People didn't appreciate how important this trial was.
Number 16. Cheer.
I can see you're nervous. Just take it like section by section.
Because what I do, I literally like push out my legs to spin. It's like push, push, spin.
Winner of an Emmy for Outstanding Unstructured Reality Program, Cheer is basically a real-life Bring It On, only it's far more brutal. The docuseries follows the Navarro College Bulldogs cheer team, a highly decorated and supremely disciplined cheerleading squad from Texas.
It is a display of athleticism. It's like the best of gymnastics with the best of circus with the best of dance.
They compete in the National Cheerleading Championship and share an intense rivalry with Trinity Valley Community College. The series showcases the intense, painful, and often unbelievable lengths that participants go to become the greatest cheerleaders in the country.
We are very, very, very hungry to win. Like, we have way too much heart, and we have come way too far and worked way too hard for any of us to give up.
While often difficult to watch, it's ultimately an uplifting story about pushing through difficulty and finding trust and companionship. Number 15, The Confession Tapes.
People look you right in the eye and lie to you and destroy you and do it on purpose.
False confessions are actually quite common. Some of them voluntary, as in the case of Henry Lee Lucas, and some coerced during police interrogation. The Confession Tapes details this unfortunate reality in often excruciating fashion.
I have no idea what kind of pressure and what kind of questions need to be put upon someone in order to go from, no, I really didn't do it, to, okay, yes, I did.
The series spans 2 seasons and contains multiple stories. Each episode covers a specific crime and highlights how police techniques led to possible false confessions.
They told me that I'd blacked out. They said, that's why you can't remember it. But the evidence proves you done it with. We got a hair that matches you, and he kept saying that. I mean, this didn't just go on for 30 minutes. This went on for hours.
The psychology involved in the interrogations and confessions is fascinating. The Confession Tapes cleverly mixes true crime drama with expert opinions to craft a docuseries that delves deep into the mind. Number 14, McMillions. There are a fair amount of murders and mysterious deaths on this list. McMillions is an outlier in this regard. It's just about some good old-fashioned white-collar crime.
And all I saw was McDonald's monopoly fraud with a question mark. And I go, what is that?
But as the HBO series proves, blood needn't be shed to make an insane story. McMillions takes an in-depth look at a long-running case of fraud carried out between 1989 and 2001 by Jerry Jacobson.
Now, I do remember clearly feeling like I was in New York and I was listening to a mobster talking about running his mafia empire, some mafia don, because that's kind of how this guy came off.
As the head of security for the company handling McDonald's annual Monopoly game, he was able to steal the rarest property pieces and pass them along for a portion of the prize.
This is a happy day. Woohoo!
Not only is the premise compelling, but the way it plays out often veers into the realm of the absurd thanks to the odd characters involved. Number 13, The Pharmacist. It's only a matter of time until this one gets turned into a biopic. It's that good.
We were creating addicts all over this country. Purdue could have did things to stop this, but they saw the profits.
In 1999, disappointed by apathetic police efforts, small-town pharmacist Dan Schneider took it upon himself to solve the murder of his son, who was killed while buying drugs.
I started noticing a lot of kids around my son's age, 18, 19, 20, 25-year-old, healthy people coming in with high-powered opiate prescriptions.
This quest for justice soon evolves, however, into a battle against the growing OxyContin epidemic. Like something out of a crime thriller, this mild-mannered pharmacist uncovers a trail of corruption and profit-maximizing principles that goes all the way up to the top, implicating Big Pharma.
Dr. Cleggett was putting these people straight to OxyContin 40 milligrams. She never started them at reduced doses and then worked their way up.
It's an incredible story, sure, but the docuseries also highlights the complexities of opioid abuse and the ways in which it ties into questions of poverty, substance use disorder, and the American healthcare system.
I'm now an only child. It's so different without him around.
Number 12, Madoff, the Monster of Wall Street.
This god was a demon, a devil.
Bernie Madoff has been arrested.
A prominent figure on Wall Street, Bernie Madoff was at one time the chairman of the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. He was also a fraudster who ran the largest Ponzi scheme in history. The SEC ignored warnings for years.
How could he fool so many people for so long?
What happened was so avoidable, and so many people enabled it to happen because of greed.
Then in December 2008, Madoff confessed to his sons. Finance can be a dry subject, but this documentary is more sprightly than snoozy, unpacking the complex subject matter to tell a fast-paced thriller. It also aims wider and examines larger questions about the financial industry and the role of greed within it.
The only people who can deceive you completely are people you trust completely. And the price of trusting anyone is that they can betray you like that.
Number 11, Conversations with a Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes.
He insisted that he was innocent. I wanted him to tell me who was he.
Netflix has found great success with their Conversations with a Killer series, but the Ted Bundy iteration has to be the most compelling of them all. Featuring archival footage and extensive interviews, the documentary covers the wild and wicked story of the infamous serial killer. It highlights Bundy's most heinous crimes, including his murderous rampage at a Chi Omega sorority house in 1978. The main pull of this doc are the words of Bundy himself, which mostly come in the form of a death row interview with Stephen Michaud.
Feeling cheated, wrong, insecure, he decides upon young, attractive women being his victim.
Number 10, Making a Murderer. This was arguably Netflix's first mega hit of a true crime docuseries, inspiring countless imitators.
And I mean, knowing her, what are your feelings for her parents? And
they must be going through hell.
Making a Murderer follows the story of Stephen Avery, a man who was wrongfully convicted of attempted murder and sexual assault.
It appears that an attempt was made to dispose of a body.
He served 18 years for a crime he didn't commit. Then, just 2 years after his release, with his civil case pending against the county to the tune of $36 million, Avery once again found himself under arrest, this time for murder.
Come back to reality here.
I am.
No, you're not.
I did 18 years. Do you think I want to do any more?
Across the first season of the series, we're presented with a riveting tale of questionable police work and an alleged frame-up. The second season doesn't pack quite the same punch, but is a worthy investigation of the U.S. legal system.
They got our family all torn right apart. It's not right.
Number 9, Wormwood. The CIA ran a covert mind control operation called Project MKUltra.
I ran into a couple of guys, one who just left the CIA, who said, if you think Watergate's something, in effect, he said, find out what we've been doing.
That sentence might sound like something from a conspiracy theory Reddit thread, comic book, or sci-fi flick, but it is now a matter of public record.
It confirms there was domestic spying on American civilians, unlawful wiretaps, the opening of private mail, even a drug testing program involving the use of LSD against unsuspecting persons.
Of course, before it came to the attention of the masses, the vast majority of the documentation was destroyed by order of then CIA Director Richard Helms. And so, decades later, even armed with the surviving declassified documents, we are still putting together the pieces.
You are in Fort Detrick, where some 600 military and civilian scientists work together in research at the Army Biological Laboratories to protect this country against a biological attack.
In this 6-part miniseries, documentary filmmaker Errol Morris explores the CIA's use of LSD, the suspicious death of scientist Eric Olson, and the enduring mystery of MKUltra. Number 8. The Vow.
ESP NXIVM is a methodology that allows people to optimize their experience and behavior.
This tantalizing HBO documentary covers one of the scariest revelations of the 2010s. NXIVM was supposedly a corporation that hosted self-help seminars. In reality, it was a vicious cult led by an abuser and human trafficker named Keith Raniere. The Vow covers the barbarous story of NXIVM and features dramatic interviews with past members.
Everything was designed to protect him.
I got played and I helped this guy build whatever he was building around him. And I was a part of that.
They delve into the cult's inner workings and how people were drawn in. It also details how Smallville star Allison Mack joined NXIVM and became a powerful and sadistic subordinate of Raniere's. The Vow is equal parts harrowing and gripping, but it's also a sad story about people who were searching for happiness and instead were exploited by the cult. Number 7. Don't F with Cats, Hunting an Internet Killer. Murder? Meet the internet age. There's no mystery in this 3-part Netflix original, but that doesn't make it any less compelling, bingeable, or disturbing.
And so I was on Facebook one day and I found a post. A lot of people have been feverishly posting about a video.
Don't F with Cats follows the rise to infamy of convicted murderer Luca Magnotta from the perspective of a community of online sleuths.
Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person didn't buy a pack of cigarettes and then hop on a plane to Paris or, Berlin, but I knew they were North American cigarettes.
Magnotta filmed himself killing a university student named Jin Lin and posted it online, subsequently becoming one of the most wanted men in the world.
Hi, my name is Luca. Magnotta is my last name, Magnotta.
Before that, however, he's thought to have been behind a video involving the torture and killing of 2 kittens. That's the video that rallied an internet community. And this documentary is the story of how they tried to bring him to justice before he could kill again.
That looks exactly like the Petro-Canada gas station that I see in the photo, Luca. And guess what? That large gray cement apartment building is directly behind it.
Number 6, Evil Genius, the true story of America's most diabolical bank heist. Watch this docuseries at your own risk. You may never be able to enjoy pizza quite like you did before, or feel comfortable going to the bank. This deadly robbery has to be one of the strangest crimes in American history. Evil Genius tells the convoluted story of Brian Wells, a man who, after completing a bank heist, was killed when the explosive device on the collar around his neck went off.
We are hopeful that by showing a picture of the device, someone may recognize the instrument.
It's like something out of a comic book or the Saw franchise. Though the nature of Wells' death is indeed morbid, it's just one small piece of a complicated puzzle that will have you on the edge of your seat.
Marjorie Deal, D-I-E-H-L.
Okay, and Marjorie Deal is at that residence now?
Yes.
Who is she to you, sir?
I'll give you guys my story later on.
Number 5, The Jinx, the life and deaths of Robert Durst. The true crime genre is full of stories about people who went to jail for crimes they allegedly did not commit. Less common, however, are tales of suspected murderers who walk free despite being linked to the deaths of multiple people.
God, the guy looks like a librarian. He doesn't look like a person that would dismember a human being.
But getting such an individual to agree to be interviewed for a docuseries, that's almost unheard of.
Why would a guy with $520 in his pocket and $37,000 in the trunk walk into a Wegmans and steal a sandwich? The guy is crying out to be arrested, isn't he?
The Jinx explores the disappearance of Robert Durst's wife Kathy, as well as the murders of his friend Susan Berman and neighbor Morris Black. Durst was considered a suspect in all 3.
I am complicit in Kathy's not being here.
We won't give away the ending, but unlike so many docuseries of its kind, this story actually has a relatively satisfying conclusion, with no shortage of twists along the way. Number 4, Wild Wild Country. Who's ready to take a trip down the rabbit hole? American history is made up of all manner of odd characters and strange chapters, but few can hold a candle to that of the Rajneeshpuram community.
Now there are 2 ways. Either repress sex as it has been done by all the so-called religious traditions of the world, or transform it.
This controversial group, led by Guru Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, left India in the 1980s and settled in Waco County, Oregon. Though the community seemed to center around sexual liberation, meditation, and dancing, Rajneesh was equally known for his love of material wealth.
Beautiful city. Example for the universe.
As the story progresses, the dream soon begins to unravel as tensions rise between Rajneeshpuram and the locals of Waco County.
Sheila, a former secretary of the Bhagwan Rajneesh, faces charges of fraud and attempted murder in Oregon.
Bioterrorism, a Rolls-Royce collection, power struggles, and questions of constitutional freedom. This documentary has got it all.
When you have a basically unstable personality, coupled with tremendous power over enormous numbers of people, you have a potentially lethal situation.
Number 3, Tiger King. Wild Wild Country might have the word wild in its title twice, but when it comes to docuseries, it simply doesn't get any more wild than Tiger King.
Come here, you sexy beast. Hi, little man.
This explosively popular Netflix original series broke the internet in March of 2020, becoming a true cultural phenomenon. It's about big cat collectors, breeders, and conservationists. Specifically, it focuses on the bitter feud between Joe Exotic and Carole Baskin, 2 figures on opposing sides of the big cat debate.
Carole Baskin's third husband.
and they can't find his body. Okay, we believe that she fed him to the tigers.
Both are wildly eccentric individuals, and as filmmakers Eric Goode and Rebecca Chaiklin unravel this complex narrative, the twists and shocking reveals come fast and heavy. But honestly, no plot summary can prepare you for the insanity of Tiger King. You just have to watch it for yourself.
About an hour ago, we had an incident where one of the employees stuck their arm through the cage and a tiger tore her arm off. I can give you your money back, or I can give you a rain check.
Number 2. O.J. Made in America.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson.
One of the finest documentaries of the 2010s, O.J. Made in America received a Peabody and the Academy Award for Best Documentary. It is a 5-part epic spanning nearly 8 hours in length, detailing in highly specific fashion the life of O.J. Simpson. It covers all there is to cover, from Simpson's early life to his record-breaking football career to his infamous murder trial and Las Vegas robbery.
If you woke up and heard that O.J. Simpson is back in the news and under arrest, rest assured it's not Groundhog Day. This time, though, he's in a jail cell in Las Vegas after a confrontation apparently caught on tape.
But it's not just a true crime series about one of the most famous cases in modern history. As the title Made in America suggests, the documentary also examines the American dream and systematic issues in American society. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Staircase. Though perhaps best known today as a Netflix original, the first season of this docuseries was released way back in 2004 under the French title Soupçon, meaning suspicion.
What's wrong? My wife had an accident. She's still breathing. What kind of accident? Fell down the stairs.
As fans of the true crime genre know all too well, these cases often span decades, and so subsequent episodes were released in 2013 and 2018 respectively. The Staircase follows the trial of Michael Peterson, an American novelist convicted of killing his wife Kathleen. The name of the series is taken from a staircase which Peterson claims took his wife's life. The forensic evidence, however, suggests a different cause of death.
It just never occurred to Michael Peterson that people wouldn't believe him when he said she fell down the stairs. That's really what this is all about.
The end result is a true crime thriller that's inspired countless theories and which people are still revisiting years later.